Yeah, go ahead.
We're live, everyone?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, hey everyone, Jojo here. So today, our manager came and knocked on the door and wanted us to sign this contract. So here's the deal. We have always paid our rent on time. We've always paid early. We always even paid like a day early. I just like doing that always. Like if I pay on the day it's due, I always feel like that's late. But we always paid, and then until this whole COVID thing happened, and in the beginning we still even paid. We paid as long as we could. Like I was stretching as much as we could in the beginning, and we were paying and paying, and then it just got to where we couldn't stretch anymore, and it came down to food or rent, and we live that minimally that we don't even have any sort of savings. So we have to sell things when we get down to the bottom. We have no credit. We can't have credit cards because we have bad credit. So it I was borrowing money from people, trying to get, some people were nice enough to do some advance, like clients would do advance on visits, and luckily I've already been able to see them to pay them back. So I was able to see them for an appointment to pay them back. So that was nice. But we couldn't. Business has just gone down the toilet here. The casinos were closed for 78 days, and now since they've been open, it still has not been good in Vegas, and that's why we're leaving. But they came today and they wanted us to sign this, which we were just talking about this before they turned it on. I believe if we sign this, we're going to be even more liable, because see, we live in a weekly right now, so technically we never had any sort of contract with them. Like what would happen normally is if we didn't pay, they would have evicted us. That's just how it happens here. You pay weekly, and if you don't pay weekly, then you get kicked out. But with this COVID, they couldn't evict, and this is happening all over Vegas. We're not the only ones. I mean, she's going around with a stack in her hand of everyone that she's giving this to, because what happened was no one could pay, and it was people thinking that people just did it because free rent. No, there was no business in Vegas. Everyone is hurting, and it became like, can you get food or pay your rent? Well, they can't evict, so we're just gonna have to go with the food and figure it out when they evict. And now everyone's in a boat, and that's what we're in. So we decided to go to Panama, because it was like we owe $5,000 now, is what she told me today. So this one she gave me a week ago or something when we first found it. It was a little bit less. Now it's up to 5,000, and she wanted me to sign it, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna sign it because I think we're leaving. And she's like, what? When are you leaving? And I'm like, well, as soon as you guys kick us out would be when we're leaving here. And like, as you guys know, we got our plane tickets for September 30th, but there's a good chance we're gonna be kicked out of here before September 30th, because they can start evicting September 1st. But she said it could take up to a month, or it could be like 5 days or 7 days, so we'll just see, and we just have to wait. And we hate this. I mean, we do not like being people that like stiff people with bills and stuff. That's not we are not okay with that today. We don't like that. But this is out of our control, you guys. Vegas went down the toilet. I mean, with the COVID, and it's not recovering. Like, even people go, oh, I went to the casinos and they were busy, but you're going to a handful of casinos when the majority are closed. So like all of the traffic is in like the 5 casinos, so it'll feel busy, but that's not enough for Vegas to survive. When there used to be, like on the Strip, I don't know how many casinos, but let's just say a number 30 casinos, now there's 5. Then yeah, you'll feel like in those 5 casinos it's busy, but for when it comes to the whole economy of Vegas, it can't survive with the 5 casinos open on the Strip or whatever. I don't know the exact number. I'm just, throwing out arbitrary numbers. But my point is, so we decided instead of trying to climb out of this hole of paying $5,000 for this place, so our rent was going to go up to $500 a week. So it was going to be $2,000 a month. Well, this is a shitty little weekly, you guys. It's not worth that. And we wanted to stay. We were going to pay it too. We really evaluated it as like, if business ever turns around. Right now we can't afford it anyways, but if business ever turned around, and it's just not. And so we were like, it's not a good idea to get into a bigger debt like that of like now committing ourselves to $500 a week, because that's what they want, is to sign the thing and then your weekly rent will go up to accommodate for your back payment. You know, I like the payment plan that they tack onto your weekly rent, which is great. They're doing that for people, but now your weekly rent becomes even more when you didn't have enough to pay it before. You see where that? Okay, and but here's some other crazy news for you guys. Like, things are seriously happening, like, that are crazy in Vegas. Is, for any of you guys that don't know, Vital Vegas. If you guys ever heard of Vital Vegas on Twitter, it's Scott Robin. He used to be on the news once. That's when I first saw him here in Vegas. I think he was on Channel 8. He did like a little thing about happenings in Vegas, and he's been doing a Twitter for a long time, and he has a website. Well, he has like 73,000 followers or something, so he's like pretty big in Vegas, and we've always tweeted him. Well, recently he put a statement on Twitter saying, and I think he also probably put a blog on his website, I'm not sure, I don't know too far to, yeah, I think there's a blog too, stating that Sahara was going to close in September is what he had heard. He had heard, because I think he talks to a lot of bartenders and things, because he goes to the bars and the casinos and plays, so you hear a lot of rumblings. So he said, rumor, but he said they're going to be closing in September. Well, whether that was true or not, Sahara is now suing him. And this is pretty big because he's a blogger. So this is like kind of like a crazy thing that now someone as a blogger is being held accountable for the things they're saying, because you can impact things and you can legally, because freedom of speech or whatever, but there are things that, like, if you were causing, certain things where, like, what he said, people then they're saying that people then canceled their tickets because they thought it was going to be closed in September, and so they might be able to hold him liable for some of these damages and things, and some of the loss. But what's crazy is they're probably going to blame him for more losses than what's really going on, because everyone is losing right now. But it was a crazy thing for us. I just saw it today. Fox 5 Las Vegas tweeted it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, because it's just we've always tried to be very careful with what we say, but we've definitely stepped on a lot of toes in the past. But luckily, we don't have any money, so no one would have even bothered to sue us. If someone tried to sue us, I'd be like, hey, do you mind if I borrow money for a lawyer in my defense? Because sure, you can have whatever we have here. It's worth about a couple $1,000, everything we own. We have it. We don't have a car anymore. That already was stolen. Actually, we have a lawsuit against the Metro Police here for losing our car. But we don't bother with that kind of shenanigans. But yeah, the long story short with that was, the car got, it got broken down. This was before the cave thing. It broke down, and it was on the side of the road. So first it got broken into. So we called the police. They came out, and they said, oh, call tomorrow about the car, blah, 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 because they were dealing with other stuff. And we called the next day, and they weren't there. It was a Saturday, because it happened on Friday. And they're like, oh, the detectives won't be until Monday. Call back on Monday. Well, the guys came back and stole the car in between the time when the detectives weren't working, because it was the weekend. So we're like, oh, that's nice. So we call about our car being broken into, and then while the detectives are not working, the whole thing gets stolen. So, and then when I went to the police station to try to tell the story, she tried to, like, claim that I would, like, was doing something fraudulent. I said, we're not doing an insurance claim. We're not getting any money. I don't know what kind of fraudulent thing I'm doing here. We had no insurance claim, guys. We didn't get any money for the car. We didn't do an insurance claim. So that's a whole nother story. But I'm like, I'm just trying to tell you what happened. We notified the police, and this happened, and you guys lost our car. And I just want to do a police report so you know what's going on here. And these guys took our car, so I want you to know that. And she's like, well, was trying to act like I was lying. I'm like, what do I have to gain here? I just told you we're not getting any money. We're out our whole car. So I don't know what lie I would be making up. Like, usually when someone lies, it's to benefit themselves for something. Like, I'm going to lie because I'm going to try to get money, or I'm going to lie to try to better myself. In this case, I'm like, no, I just told you my car's gone. We're not getting another one. We're out the car. I just want you to know that someone's driving around with my car. So if they could maybe get pulled over and that be known that the car is stolen. So if you could note that, I say, I don't know what you guys do, but if you note that, so when they get pulled over when they're driving our car, they'll know it's stolen, not think it's still my car. And she's like, okay, whatever. Anyway, so Scott Robin, Vital Vegas, this is really big. I don't know what he's thinking right now. Like, I don't know what his thought process is. I don't know all the legalities of what they can hold against him, what they can't, because it's tough with social media. This is kind of like a new thing with social media. Like some of the things happening now. Like, have you guys heard, like, Trump's taking down TikTok? This is just the weirdest things going on. I mean, it's just, oh, and then what was it? Jared told me that Trump put something on Facebook and Instagram, was it? And then saying that the virus was not as deadly as people were saying, but for children, that children are, be fine. And they took that down. So it's weird stuff going on of like social media censoring and not censoring and weird stuff, you guys. This is a very strange time we're living in, and we're seeing a lot of things being unraveling, like government stuff of like, I didn't realize there was so much personal vendetta that occurred in the government of like literally people just hate each other, and that's why they're fighting so much, like in the sense of a lot of people just validly hate Trump. Now, I am not a Trump supporter. People think when I start talking like this that I'm a Trump supporter in some way when I say that these people hate Trump. That doesn't mean I am on his side. I'm saying they validly hate Trump, so they are trying to take him down. I'm not saying like he's a victim here and they're bullies. I'm stating a fact. They hate him. They don't want him to be president. They're trying to take him down. Now, validly, a lot of the reason why they hate him, like when they put the children in cages at the border, a lot of people did not agree with that, and I did not agree with that. And a lot of people did not agree with the tax on China, which made everything more expensive for the average person and the average business for all the products we get from China. A lot of people don't agree with some of the things he's done with the wars we've gone to already, or little deals he's been making on the side, or all the Russian stuff. So validly, these people can hate him. I'm just saying, I never realized that they would take such action on personal vendettas. Like literally, some of these Democrats just hate him so much that they are willing to just spread so much false news about this virus. So the virus has killed people, but it is killing the people that were going to die anyways, that were already ill. And that's what the flu virus is. And what we've done is we've made it seem like it was going to kill healthy people. And that is not the case. It's never been the case. Healthy people are not dying. Someone will say, oh, this healthy person died. For one thing, healthy is, what does healthy mean? So you're saying they're healthy, but if they died from a flu virus, then they weren't healthy. That's the bottom line. Because if I got that virus, I know I would live. 100%. I wish I could prove it. If someone can give it to me, fine, I'll prove it. Because if you are healthy, you will live. It's the people that have respiratory problems, the people that already were very sick from something else that are dying. And so, excuse me, I actually have a lot of respiratory problems from my years of bulimia. I am healing, so when I smoke weed, it actually is healing all of the stuff going on from all these years. So it sounds bad when I cough, but it's actually healing. But anyways, what's happened is I believe that people have just jumped on this virus thing as just a way to really excuse anything they want to push right now. It's like, and a lot of people are using it as a scapegoat. Like, oh, the reason why our company's doing bad is because of the COVID, when they were already doing bad. So that is the case with a lot of the casinos in Vegas. They were already not doing very well. They were selling casinos like crazy here. There was a lot of fraud happened, like with the Palms Casino. That one's closed now indefinitely until someone buys it, I guess. But there was already a kind of a fraud with that club, the Chaos Club. So there was issues in Vegas, especially since the Mandalay Bay shooting. But now everyone's going to just use the COVID as an excuse for any sort of loss they've had, for the last couple of years. And they also are using it like so politically that I know it's not as serious as they're trying to say it is. Because if it was, then politics would be out the window. It wouldn't matter who's going to be president. If it really was a deadly virus, that we really were at the risk that they say that we are, that it's so serious that we have to wear masks and stay 6 feet apart, then they really have done a really bad job containing it, because we are all interacting and stuff, and we would have all got it if it was really the deadliness that they're acting. But then also they wouldn't have even cared about elections during this time if there was truly, like, if there was like a deadly virus like in history where it came in and just wiped out everyone. If you got it, I mean, you just died, then it wouldn't matter who was running for president right now. And that's what they're trying to act like, and you can't have both. You cannot say this is such a deadly virus, then who gives a crap who is running in, who's going to be on the ballot in November, if there really is a deadly virus that we all might be dying. But no, instead you hear, oh, deadly virus, but oh, make sure to vote for Biden or vote for Trump or vote for whoever. I don't even know who's all in the runnings this year because I just don't care. I don't ever vote. But this year I especially don't care who's running. All I know is all of this stuff is political. So it doesn't matter, because I think they're all terrible candidates, and I think they've all used their own personal vendettas and have destroyed the government. And you say, oh, but there was this virus. There was a regular flu virus, and maybe even a little bit more severe, but I think those numbers are mostly exaggerated, because we already know that they've found that people were using things like people that already had pneumonia, and if they got the COVID, they count that as a death, or they found that people were counting COVID deaths even if they died from other means that had nothing to do with the COVID, but if they had contracted it, they would say, oh, they had the COVID and then they died. Like, let's say even a car accident, but like, oh, they were calling them COVID deaths, because like the person got COVID and died, but they didn't die because of COVID. Well, so we already know the numbers are kind of fluffed up, but so when they're saying it's this deadly virus, I'm like, well, we already know the numbers are already fluffed up. So is the real number? I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. But from what I can see over the last however many months we've been going through this nightmare, I have not met one person that has actually said that they knew someone right, like immediately to them, that died from it. I've heard people say, oh, I had someone that got it, and oh man, it was really hairy. Oh man, you don't want to get it. I'm like, yeah, no one wants to get the flu, but if you're living to tell about it, then it ain't all that deadly. Oh, it's so bad, you don't want to get it, you're gonna die. I mean, I live, but you're gonna die. Okay, so I mean, maybe you guys have like all these family members that are just dying like crazy from the COVID, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong, message me about it, because from what no one even like someone who knows someone, I'll see on the news or something, they'll tell about someone that dies, but I've never had it be someone that I've actually known, and anyone that I've even interacted with. When like I talk to people, oh, do you know anyone that got it or died? No, I don't, but my friend had it and they said it, it sucked. Yeah, it's a rough one. I'm like, okay, but no one likes the flu. The flu is always rough. But if they're living to tell, then why are we shutting down the whole world? Anyways, I remember, if you guys go back, I was doing these blogs in the beginning, and I was so upset about this because I knew Vegas was going to be done, and I cried the first day we went to the strip after the shutdown, which I don't remember what day it was. It was maybe day 3 or something. And I started bawling because I knew it was done, and I knew some way we were done, and that made me sad because I liked Vegas. But we're leaving, and I feel bad about leaving this bill here. I mean, I don't like that. Believe me, I'm not someone that, I'm actually one of those people that I'll even like, I don't want to say like turn down money, but I'm someone that I will not I don't just say, how people don't do anything for money. I will do what I feel is right. I will not just do anything for money, and so I also don't feel comfortable stiffing people about money, but sometimes the world shuts down for fake flu virus, basically, and what are you gonna do? And they shut down your entire existence. I've barely gone to the casinos even since they've opened because no one's here. I mean, people that are here are families with babies, you guys. We went out one time when I did have a client, which has been very few since it's even been open. It was 11 p.m. We went to MGM, and there was babies rolling on the floor. Jerry Rich has a video of it, like just rolling around, playing on the ground, and then these guys were jogging through MGM. I'm like, what is going on here? I think they were trying to catch the bus or something. I don't know, but they were literally jogging. It's on Twitter. It's funny, and I'm like, this is just so weird. And then there's been this new thing of like everyone swimming in the fountains. Have you guys heard about this? Supposedly one guy I think even died in one of the fountains, but I don't know for sure. I just heard a little bit on Twitter, but definitely swimming. You know, like we just have the weirdest crowd here right now, and it's not what Vegas wants in the sense of these people don't have money. Me and Jedi Rich made a joke that if you had to charge them 25 cents to go on the strip, they would choose a different route. This group, I mean, they don't want to pay for anything. It's like becoming like a shitty Disneyland, and so we're leaving. And I didn't want to leave. I love Vegas, and it was actually, you know, it had not done well since 2017, and then this March looked like it was going to have a little bit of a turnaround. You know, because we were going to have the NFL draft here in April, and then March is March Madness, and then the Raiders were coming now, and it was going to be an awesome year, and then all this happened, and I feel like people say, oh, well, we can't help it, a virus happened. I feel like a regular virus happened, and that all the politics got involved, and then just shut everything down. And so now we, as people, are suffering, where the government, they're gonna bounce right back. You know, they'll be fine, especially, you know, even people with government jobs, you know, you do bounce right back. But it's everyone that had a job that maybe won't bounce right back, like bartenders, waitresses, and cocktail servers, anyone in entertainment, anyone doing shows, concerts, even like rock stars and stuff. They can't even do concerts. Not that they probably need the money, but you know what I mean? Like, there's, for every big person, there's small people that took care of that now don't have jobs. So every casino had, you know, probably 5,000 or so employees that now don't have jobs when that casino doesn't come back. And they don't have anywhere else to go because there isn't another casino. And casinos, one example, well, let's say a restaurant. Now, the restaurants that are all at 50% capacity are the ones that didn't return at all. All those people that were cooks, the line servers, you know, everything, the waiters and waitresses, like every position, dishwashers, now doesn't have a job. And where are these people going to go? And it was unnecessary in my mind. I feel like, for one thing, with the way they contained it, we could have still contained it with things staying open. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? For like the way it's being contained, it's not like we're really being quarantined. So why was it necessary to shut everything down? Because I don't feel that we truly got quarantined. I don't feel like I truly was like, oh man, I'm safe from the virus. I mean, they had us all still going the same places, like the grocery stores all along. They just recently had us putting on masks for the first month. Everyone was just walking around going, hoarding shit at the grocery stores, running into each other, grabbing toilet paper, no masks and fighting over toilet paper. Remember that? Talk about spreading the disease, if there really was the virus back then. And people go, oh yeah, but we didn't know it. Now we took more precautions. We took precautions way later after it was already like almost done. Okay. And now we're still continuing these precautions way later. And people are still insisting on these masks as if like, you are the one person that is going to infect everyone if you take your mask off for a second. I wear my mask on the bus and in places like stores or casinos, but I will not wear a mask walking around outside. It is like 110 degrees here. There's no way, and not even the cops do here. And they also said they wouldn't enforce it because that's ridiculous. You can't enforce people to put on masks. It's 110 degrees when they're walking outside. It's insane. I mean, this is just insane. And, oh, man, that's why the virus spread. One thing, like I said, how many of you know someone that was really affected to where they died? Do any of you know anyone personally? Because I sure don't. all I see is like someone's grandma died online, and I'm sorry, but everyone's grandma and grandpa dies at some point, and I get so tired of hearing the sob stories of someone's grandma and grandma. Not just with the COVID. When I watch TV, it's like their horrible thing that happened in their life. They're like one thing. You watch these music shows where they're like, yeah, I was cruising on and my grandma died. And everything is, I'm like, it's your grandma. Of course they're gonna die. I mean, my grandparents died when I was pretty young. Most of them, I think I have like one living grandparent. But your grandparents will die usually before you, and it should be before you. It's very unfortunate if grandkids die before grandparents. So, like, this idea that your hardship was your grandparents dying, and if your grandparents died during the COVID, they're still your grandparents. They were going to die at some point. I mean, this idea that dying is just so the end ends, and like, I just don't understand it. Because for one thing, dying is not the end. And my mother committed suicide, and my brother died in a motorcycle accident. So I know about death. So when people go, oh, you just don't have any sympathy. Oh, really? No, I freaking know how much it sucks to lose someone. I'm just saying you can't live your whole life of like, well, grandma died, so now is everything the world fun. And like this, we're shutting down the whole world for some people's grandparents dying. That's insane. That's insanity. Do you not see how that's insane? Like, now more people are affected, and people are going to die in other ways, like suicide and stuff. The suicide rate has gone up because people don't have jobs, and they're depressed, and they're stuck at home. So what about those people? But I'm glad we saved Susie's grandma. And did we? I don't know. I mean, was she, probably if she lived, it's because she's healthy, and the ones that didn't weren't healthy. You know what I mean? So it's like, and people will get so upset with me when it comes to things about death, because they're just like, oh, how dare you laugh at death, or say that it's not important when someone dies, or this and that. Yes, it's important to the people that were close to that person when that person dies. But for the rest of the world, we should not really give that much of a shit about other people's lives, because we have the whole rest of the other people's lives. Do you get what I'm saying? When we focus on one person that died, every other person suffers if we're only focusing on the one person that dies when everyone else is living. Can we stop focusing on the ones that are dead and focus on the ones that are living, the ones that are healthy and weren't already on their deathbed? The COVID is killing people that were on their deathbed already. And so we shut down the whole world, and now we're affecting the young people because they're scared of each other now in school, when they even get to go back to school, whenever that'll be. But now, because we put all this fear in the children, stay 6 feet apart, put masks on, like we're really affecting like the whole next generation to save Susie's grandma. It's insane, you guys. It's absolutely insane. And I feel like I am just, that no one understands. Like, I feel like I just am beating myself against the head, and everyone's like, well, there's a deadly virus going around. How deadly is this virus if you don't even know anyone that's died from it? And you say, oh, because we took all these precautions. Our precautions have been terrible if we were really containing a deadly virus. I mean, come on. Some bars can be open, some restaurants can be open, some this, some that. Construction could stay open the whole time. I mean, just all these weird little stipulations would not have worked if there was really a deadly virus, you guys. Everything would have been shut down. The government would have given us supplies to our home and provided them, and we wouldn't have been able to go to work at all. Not some people go to work, other people don't go to work. We have to send the same delivery driver to the same people. So if that one delivery driver really had the virus, he'd spread it to every person that he brought the package to all day. Or if the one cashier gets it, and everyone that checked out at Walmart. So our plans of keeping people safe have been horrid. And the only thing that people jump on is, wear your mask. All that matters is wearing your mask. They're making jokes now in Vegas of getting mask tans, and that's something cool, because there's really nothing else they can do is try to make light of this ridiculousness. But people are getting mask tans because you got to wear a mask at the pool. for the couple of pools that are open. Ours has never been open here this year. They didn't bother. Whatever. People go, wait, maybe I should pay your bills, then you'll open the pool. No, they don't open the pool. They didn't open the pool last year barely either, because they don't like it if people leave kids unattended, then they shut down the pool for everyone, even though it's not our kids. We're like, how come we get punished for someone else's kids? Like, they'll shut down the pool for like a week if someone leaves their kids unattended. Like, if someone else's kids get left unattended, everyone else suffers. Forget it. But this year they didn't even open it at all, so that's why we lay out on the lawn. Get our tan on. Anyways, you guys, it's really hot in here, so I'm going to end this because it runs out of air because we can't have the AC on.
Great.
And I'm like...
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Oh,
it's T-minus 54 days till we leave.
54 days till we leave. Oh, here's the thing. That's right.
We're going to have to...
You guys, we don't have our passports yet. So this is
the balance.
People are going to be like, this is going to be one of those things where some people are going to be
Jedi timing.
hoping so much that we fail on this one. And you guys, I know y'all out there, which ones you are. No, I'm just kidding. I know some of you. I don't know all you. But anyways, this is the thing. So we got our passports on, on dates are really a mess to me right now. So what are we in? Are we
September 30th.
So we got it on, no, but not that. We got our passports on July 27th. July 27th. So now where are we in? August, let's say 7th. And now the guy said normally it takes 4 to 6 weeks to get your passports. But you couldn't do any rush thing with this whole COVID thing. And he says with the COVID, it's going to take 8 to 12. But here's the thing. We think that was, did that in the beginning, like when this first started, because, you know, people were still traveling. So they put that thing. But now, when we went to the post office, he saw us like half hour early. There's no one there. There's like, when I scheduled the appointment, I could schedule it for any time tomorrow. Like, it was like available, even that day I could have, but it was like, you could schedule today, tomorrow. Normally when I've scheduled for getting passports in the past, you would schedule like a week or two out. So we're thinking it's probably gonna be quicker than they said, but even if, then we still have 9 weeks from the time that we're leaving, from the time we ordered it. So that would be within the 8 week, but not the 12 week. So we already bought our tickets. We're gonna leave September 30th if we have our passports. And the reason why we don't have passports is because they were stolen in our car. So everything valuable that we wanted to keep, because what happened was, after, I'll go over this really quick for you guys that get confused. You guys that from Periscope know, some of you know about the cave thing. But what happened in 2017 after the Mandalay Bay thing, we were really upset and we were like, we don't want to be here anymore, because it was really hard to be in Vegas right after that, because we lived really close. We could see Mandalay Bay every day from our bedroom window, and we took photos, and so it really upset us. So we said, let's just pack up our car, and we were gonna actually go to California is what we were thinking. But Jedi Rich had ran into this guy that lived at the top. Oh, I should show them that in a second. Look at this, you guys. I wanted this water flosser
For the trip.
For the trip. Make sure I got check my shorts the other day. They flagged me because it looked like something. But watch, you guys, it's a travel one. So it like, this comes off like this, and then this little bit, it's gonna squirt water when I do this, but this goes up. See, and then this folds down, and then this goes over the top of that, and it all goes into like that. So it's like a super compact thing, and then you just pop it back out. So when you're using it, but I wanted a travel one because we have to have like really minimal stuff. And these are amazing, guys. If you don't use a water flosser, you should really get one. Like, they're so good. This was like $35. Someone got it for me, but I had added it, so I knew what it cost. This one's not the best for pressure. We'll probably have to get another one when we get to Panama, but this will be good for travel for now. Here you go, Jared. Oh man, my back is so sweaty, you guys. So real quick about the cave. So what happened was, Jedi Rich had ran into this guy, Robert, who had been living up in the caves, but he had one day went there to take photos because there was this cool like hill that people would climb, hike up to. And then so before we left, he's like, let's go check this guy out, because he just thought he was so crazy. He called him the Moon Man, because he wore this crazy anyways. So we go up there, and then we broke the oil pan because we were driving on the rocks out there, And so then we're like, okay, Robert had tents in the cave. So we're like, let's just stay for a night, for a couple of nights with Robert, because he actually had a tent that had, I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to make sure none of this showing here. Oh, yeah, come. This is the most comfortable position, but I would be careful, because they flagged me. He had some tents, so we stayed for a week with him, and then we ended up getting our own tent and staying up because we're like, hey, this is too bad, but because the car got stolen in that first week too. But in our car was all of the things that we had wanted to keep because we had packed it up to leave. So it was like everything else we'd left at our place. We just only put what we could fit in our car. So it was all the important stuff, you know, our passports, our birth certificates, the title to the car. That's why they came back and stole it. That's why we notified the police too, because we're like, they have the title, because they first broke in and took all the stuff out of the car, and in one of the suitcases had a binder that had all of our personal documents. It was birth certificates, marriage certificate, passports, checking checkbooks, you know, that no one uses anymore, the title to the car, and all this stuff. So when they broke in, we said they're probably going to come back and steal the car because they now own our title to the car. Like, they can just take our car. And they were like, oh, you know, call back tomorrow, or whatever. And that's what they did. They came back and got the car. We, like, knew it was going to happen because they had the title in their possession. And when you have the title, basically you own that car now because they can sign whatever they want, you know what I mean, and give it to someone else. So I was like, oh, shoot. But long story short, so that's why we don't have passports. They were in that binder as well. And so Jedi Rich has been telling me to get a passport, and I'm like, well, yeah, whatever, because we weren't planning on leaving. And first we had to get our birth certificates, and that's what we got. We had done some blogs about it. But so I'm hoping it all works out by September 30th, because the other thing, you know, is we need to get out of here, which I don't know what date they're going to kick us out of here. She didn't know either. She just came and knocked on our door. That's why we decided to do a vlog. I was like, oh. It was pretty embarrassing. I mean, no one wants to be in this situation. You don't want to be like a freeloader, you know. It doesn't feel good. It's very embarrassing. It's like no one, people act like people would like that. Like, oh, must be nice to not pay your bills. You know, it doesn't feel good. It's very embarrassing. It's very like awkward that you know can't afford it, and we always could before until Vegas shut down, and we're not the only ones. I mean, she had a stack. She's walking around. So that's unfortunate. Anyways, we're going to Panama though. That's news as long as we get our passports. But our planes are booked for September 30th, and even for 26 days of hotel in Panama, which all of that we were able to get for like $2,000. And which we got from our stimulus check, which was so cool because we didn't expect to get that. We did not know we were getting that. Jedi Rich's mom kept telling us to sign up. We're like, how are we going to get a stimulus check? We didn't even think we qualified. But they're like, no, it's for everyone right now. We're like, all right. So we signed up the thing online, and then it just popped in the mail. I mean, in the account. And I was like, oh. So we decided to that day get the plane tickets. And people were like, oh, that's a great idea. Why don't you pay your rent with the money? Well, then we'd still be like $3,000 in the hole. You know what I mean? Even if we paid, it's like, no. So it made the most sense to get out of here because we can't afford to stay here. It's getting too expensive, and there's not enough money that's going to be coming in here for a long time, because the thing is there's no conventions, there's no concerts, there's no clubs, the bars are closed. Like, people are not going to be coming to Vegas the way they were. So time for the Jedi to leave. And that's it. All right, please subscribe.